What's up, YouTubers? So before we get started with this video, on ESPN SportsCenter, they're going to be talking about how Anthony Davis declined the player option and is now going to become a free agent. So let's see what they have to say about that.
It is a big week for the NBA. About 20 minutes ago, trades could officially happen. Wednesday, the NBA draft tips off. You can watch that right here on ESPN. Friday at 6, free agency gets underway. And the Rockets' James Harden is pondering his future. And sources tell ESPN that the Nets are rising to the top of his list as a possible.
If James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant are able to play with each other, they're definitely going to be giving the Lakers a run for their money in the finals. I mean, if everybody can get on the same page and everybody play their role, that could be a nasty squad if James Harden goes to the Brooklyn Nets.
Trade destination. The thought of teaming up with KD and Kyrie in Brooklyn apparently has him intrigued. Durant and
Man, somebody just hit the blunt before coming on stage or what?
Harden, as everyone knows, former teammates in OKC. Apparently, they recently discussed the possibility, but there have yet to be trade talks between the two front offices. As Adrian Wojnarowski joins us now, I mean, my question is, which one of the three of those guys is going to say, "Hey, I don't need the basketball all the time"? But anyway, that's another question.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be an issue between Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. Who's going to be the number one player? For me, I would say Kevin Durant. And between, Kyrie Irving and James Harden, it's going to be hard to figure out who's going to be doing what because everybody wants ball time.
I mentioned quickly the Nets have just traded with the Pistons for perimeter defender Bruce Brown as well. So what are the realistic chances that James Harden could end up in Brooklyn?
Well, there's been a lot of factors for a trade of this magnitude, but it's going to start with James Harden really being aggressive with Houston ownership, management, and saying, that's where I want to play. I want to move on. And I think he's going to have to push the issue to get this because, Brooklyn doesn't have a star to send back to them. The idea would be to play with Kyrie and Kevin Durant. There certainly would be great interest in Harden around the league. And ultimately, how much would Brooklyn give up? Would they give up multiple picks moving forward across a lot of years? That's not Sean Marks' style as their GM. Still a lot of hurdles, but it is certainly on the mind of James Harden and Kevin Durant at this point.
Well, they have monster.
So I'm thinking I would definitely take a chance of giving up some draft picks to pick up James Harden. I mean, he's just too good to pass up, especially, mix him in with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. That's a nasty squad right there. But my only problem is, can they all get on the same page? Can everybody play their role? Everybody's not going to get the rock all the time. And I would say the number one front runner is going to be Kevin Durant. And then, either Kyrie Irving or James Harden is going to be the second fiddle to Kevin Durant. But that's going to be a nasty squad if he gets there. That would definitely be worth it because, that would be a nasty squad.
Contracts, too, though. How would that work out, KD and Kyrie, at such high salaries, bringing in James Harden?
They have an owner in Brooklyn and Josiah who is willing to go deep in luxury tax and having three max players and a player like Joe Harris you're going to have to re-sign in this offseason. Mm-hmm. It would be an expensive proposition. There aren't a lot of teams in this pandemic right now who would be willing to spend the way the Nets would be to have to do a deal like this, take on Harden's money long term.
Man, and who would...
I would do it. Like I said, James Harden is too good to you passing up, especially mixing him with the other players on the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, he's a MVP. I mean, the guy is just, he can definitely bring the Brooklyn Nets to where they want to get to and take care of business against the Lakers if need be.
Be willing to take a back seat. Like, to me, that's the intriguing
question. Those are issues to be talked through.
Exactly. All right. So the Rockets, obviously, they lose to the Lakers in the playoffs. AD, as expected, he's opting out of the final year of his contract. So he officially enters free agency. What's the situation with him and his future with the Lakers?
So that's a major problem that Anthony Davis hasn't re-signed, especially after they just won a championship. But what I really think is happening, I think Anthony Davis is just trying to keep the Lakers on their toes and not think he's automatically going to resign. He's automatically, going to, play with the Lakers. I think that's what he's doing because I'm pretty sure he's going to re-sign back with them, especially they have a great chance of running it back again, going back-to-back championships. So I think he's going to re-sign, but I think he's just trying to keep the Lakers and other teams on their toes.
Lakers.
Hannah, the issue for the Lakers and Anthony Davis is simply going to be how long of a contract extension is he going to do with them? Is he going to match up with LeBron, add a couple years on, do a deal for a couple years, and then go back in to free agency again? Does he do a 4-year or 5-year deal? That's the only question for he and the Lakers to work out this week. But Anthony Davis will be back opening night with LeBron James and LA.